Episode 15. We're back. Back again. Welcome to another episode of Mixing Live with AfterWinter's second album, Boundless. We are making really good progress through the album, and today we are back after a day's break to continue mixing song number 4, Distance. So let's take a look at our Logic stream. Here we go. Very nice. Okay. So when we left off in the last episode, we were in the middle of sound detail, the second chunk of my mixing process, and we are going to be hopefully finishing that up today, and maybe even getting into a little bit of the volume detail. We will see how that goes when we get there. Looks like we were getting ready to start sound detailing pianos. So, not too bad. We should be making some good progress today. Hey, I saw a couple of more subscribers jumping in there, so if you are one of those new subscribers watching this, even if you're not watching it live at the moment, thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate it. Everybody in the band really appreciates it. We hope you enjoy what you're hearing. And we hope you enjoy kind of sitting in on the ride of this album being done. I always love watching other bands do stuff like this, so I hope everybody that's watching this takes that same joy in this that I do watching others. Okay, let's take a look at our pianos here. So we're starting off with low piano 1. Looks like we've got 5 kind of piano tracks. Really, it's 4 piano tracks, I guess. We got low piano 1 and 2, high piano 1 and 2, and then there is an organ that we've just classified into the piano group. All of this again played by Sam. These are MIDI, but they are performances, not programmed. So Sam really did play this stuff, and then we transitioned it to audio later so that the computer wasn't having to work so hard to play it back. On low piano 1, it looks like the only thing we're doing here is the leading into the chorus. So those low notes, those da 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 da. Let's check that, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. Exactly, yeah. So, and the 2 things that are on this track are that. The other thing should be the same. Yeah, literally just leading us into the chorus. Sounds good by itself. Let's take a listen to that in the context of the song. Okay, so what we've got going on there is our normal piano chain. We've got a channel EQ on here, dipping a little bit at 70 for the bass drum and the bass guitar, dipping at 406 for some muddiness, and increasing at about 6200 for a little bit of bright going on in there. We're also compressing, Logic's built-in compressor. This is the vintage VCA. This comes stock when you open the piano that we used. I'm trying to think of what the piano setting was. It's a built-in Logic thing. Yep, don't remember, but it's one of the pianos that just comes with Logic. All this stuff pops up. Tape delay, same thing. Saturation, right there. Jumps in on that when you load the MIDI program. Now we've changed the EQ a little bit, but everything else is stock. Okay, low piano 2 is what Sam is doing with his left hand during the chorus. Has the same plugins we just talked about for low piano 1. Let's kind of take a listen. Now again, this is a support instrument, this particular track, so it doesn't need to like leap out of the speakers at you or anything.
I know that you feel lost and alone. You don't have to stay there.
I particularly like that right there, the da-da-da-da-da-da. You can pretty clearly hear James's distortion rhythms do that, Sam's low piano do that, and the bass do that. Right here. Yeah. Yep, I think I'm good with the sound of that. High piano has pretty much all the same stuff on it. Our channel EQ does look a little different because we've also high passed. We haven't done the cut at 70 because nothing on this channel should be down in a range to mess with the bass guitar or bass drum anyway. So we've replaced it with a high pass. Okay, yes. High piano 1 is doing this kind of like almost Final Fantasy 1-esque climb up during the break. Good with the sound of that. And then high piano 2 is again what his right hand is doing during the chorus. So low piano 2 and high piano 2 make up the single performance that he did, which I then later separated.
I know that you feel lost. By the water, I'll meet you where you are. Though you think you're too far gone, never will the distance be too far for me.
Nice. I also turned the rim click down just a little bit just there. The rim click kind of like leapt out the speakers at me just there, so turned it down just a little bit, not too much. Okay, and then let's take a look at what the organ is doing. I think sound-wise we're all good with that. The organ only has one part, and it's at the end of the song. Looks like we've just got a channel EQ imported from probably Poison in the Well. Low passing here, and then also giving us a little bit of extra high end. We've also got an almost imperceptible boost at 86 and a little cut at 1.7. Interesting. Those were, the 86 wouldn't have been a high pass thing, or a mid-range bandpass. Interesting. The 1740 was probably a mid-range bandpass thing. I'm not sure what the 86 thing is, but we'll trust that it's supposed to be there. Let's take a listen. I love that part too. Yeah, I think it sounds the way it should already. That end is us just going absolutely nuts with doing different time signatures, basically. Now, the whole thing is classified as 5/4, but Eli's playing it like it's 4/4. James and I and Dad are all playing it like it's 5/4. Sam's playing in mostly sets of 3 with a couple of 2s thrown in, and then we all meet back up in 5 at the end. So it's such a neat thing. For some reason, there's a really good word for that I've used in a previous episode that my brain just will, like, aggressively will not remember at the moment. Huh. Yep, it's going to come to me later and I'm going to feel like a moron. Okay, we've got an organ reverb and a piano reverb, both of which are at 0 at the moment, so we need to bring those up. Let's do the organ first. A little too much. Yeah, there's better. Polyrhythms. There you go. Dang it. My brain kept saying para. I'm like, no, it's not para. Polyrhythms. Okay, let's do the piano reverb here.
I know that when you will come home, and we won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you are.
Okay, good with all that. We do have a little bit of channel EQ on the piano reverb there just to make sure that the reverb itself isn't taking up too much space in the frequency range. Now for our piano's master, we have 3 things that we need to take a look at. The first, of course, is a multipressor, which everybody who's been watching the previous episode should be familiar with. This is a compressor that separately affects different frequency ranges. And at the moment it is set the way it was in Boundless. We just need to make sure that it is still set okay for what we are doing right now. So we're going to solo the pianos and kind of take a look. Now, again, we're not using this to change the sound. We're using this as more of a safety net to make sure that if there is a particular frequency that jumps out somewhere, that this catches it and kind of pulls it back in. So we don't want to see these lines here moving too much in what we're about to listen to. Just a little bit of movement across all of them so that we know if there's something particularly loud, it'll grab it. Little bit more movement on number 2 and number 4. Okay, let's also check out what that's doing to the organ. Okay, basically nothing, which is good. Okay, next in the chain is a regular compressor. This is mostly just to catch everything that is, anytime we're hearing 2 tracks together. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words. Anytime there's 2 or more tracks playing together, we want to make sure that that is not like way louder than everything else. So again, we shouldn't be seeing this jump too much, just a bit. Okay, and then finally we have a channel EQ, which is a mid-range bandpass thing we did to help the pianos argue less with the strings. This is boosting at 600 and cutting at 1,000, and on the orchestras we did the opposite, cutting at 600, boosting at 1,000, just to help the 2 things kind of sit together a little better. Now there actually isn't much orchestra in this one. The orchestra comes in near the middle of break 2 and hangs out for this chorus 2 and then goes away, and that's it. So we definitely, one thing we want to keep in mind here is that maybe we only want to turn that EQ on during the part where the strings are, and for the rest of it, leave it off. Let's take a look at this chorus, and let's listen to it with that EQ on and off, and this is chorus 1, and just see if it's doing anything positive or negative, considering the strings aren't in there for it to interact with. No. Let's not do it in solo, though. Okay, you know what? I'm pretty sure that I'm hearing it better with that EQ on. Let's leave it. Okay, moving into strings. Like I said, the orchestra is there's not a lot going on in this song. Okay, so yeah, it starts at the beginning of break 2 and goes throughout chorus 2, but it fades in over the course of break 2. And we've got a low strings and a high string. So again, this is a single performance that I later separated into 2 different tracks so that we could affect it differently. On the low strings, we've got a compressor doing the Platinum Orchestral preset. And then our EQ is cutting at 60 for the bass drum, cutting at 80 for the bass guitar, and boosting at 120, which is where we want these strings to kind of sit. And then on our high strings, the same compressor, and then for an EQ, high passing at 120, cutting a little bit at 1200. I don't remember exactly what that was for, but it was a mid-range bandpass thing. So this is mostly just like big held chords. Take a peek. Oh, well, yeah, you know what? Helps if you solo the right thing. There it is. Yeah, so very much a support instrument in this song. This is not something that needs to be jumping right up at the front of the mix. This needs to be kind of helping make the chorus 2 feel a little bit different from chorus 1. Having listened to that little bit by itself, I think they're going to be okay sound-wise, but let's kind of take a listen once that chorus hits.
I know that you feel left all alone. I won't. There is a day when you will come home, and we won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you.
That was a big difference. Did you guys catch that? So it's hard to hear. I don't know about you guys, but on my speakers, when everything's playing, it's hard to tell that anything different is happening. But if you mute it, suddenly, like the bottom drops out of it. So it's in here. But if we mute it, so it actually is making a pretty big difference to the vibe, if you will. Maybe it's not something that we're specifically picking out at every moment that it's playing, but it is making a pretty big difference. Okay, so let's get our other effects going with it. I think we are going to go back to solo mode here. So first off, we've got our channel EQ that's been on the whole time. This is a 4 decibel cut at 400 in the middle only, helping to push our strings out to the sides. Next, we have a multipressor, going to be doing the exact same thing with this that we normally are. We want to see a little bit of movement on each one of these bands, but not too much. Let's go with that. Next, we have a regular compressor doing the same thing, just making sure everything is pretty solid. Now, it looks okay volume-wise, but let's just take a look. I'd like to hear this, I think, with the... if we change this to the Studio VCA with soft distortion, which kind of makes the bottom a lot rounder and bigger, I kind of want to hear to see if that benefits or hurts.
I know that you feel left all alone. I won't let you stay there. There is a day when you will come home, and we won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you are.
might have made it a little bit too, low-mid rangey. The word that came to mind just there was blubby. I don't know if that's right or not, but that's what occurred to me. It sounded too blubby.
I won't let you stay there. There is a day when you will come home, and we won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you are. Though you think you're too far gone, never will the distance be too far for me.
Although I will admit that now that I've turned it off, I'm missing a little bit of the blub. Let's go back to that again and kind of check it out again. We're coining all sorts of terms on these podcasts. We've got the Wendy's effect, and now we've got this blubby.
I know that you feel left all alone. I won't let you stay there. There is a day when you will come home, and we won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you are. Though you think you're too far gone, never will the distance be too far for me.
Whoops. Just hit a weird button by accident. Yeah, it must not have been important. I don't have any undo steps. Okay, yeah, let's keep this, I think. Let's level match, though. Want to make sure this isn't adding too much volume.
Where you are. Though you think you're too far gone, never will the distance be too far for me.
Went ahead and brought in the orchestra reverb there, too. We may have to automate the end of that. I do feel like it gets just a little bit too loud near the end of that chorus. Okay, and then finally, we've got an EQ here, which is cutting at 220, which may help us get rid of some of that blubbiness. And then we're doing the cut at 600 and boost at 1,000. That is the opposite of the piano to help the two of them sit together better. So let's kind of see what that's doing.
I know that you feel left all alone. I won't let you stay there. There is a day when you will come home, and we won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you are. Though you think you're too far gone, never will the distance be too far for me.
Yeah, that definitely did cut some of those low mids that were kind of getting in the way. Yeah. Okay. Taking a look at our two synth tracks. Now, we do have a lot of what we had on the other song on here. So we've got a low shelf, cutting a lot of low end. We've got a low pass, cutting some of the high end that's unnecessary. We've also got this little dip at 400, which is a mid-range bandpass thing. Hey, Guy Barnes, how's it going, man? Good to see you in here. Hope you're doing good. For those of you that don't know, Guy is one of our biggest supporters. Guy is maybe more than anybody else that wasn't a band member was the main one who was constantly going, how's Paramnesia coming? How's Paramnesia coming? Is it done yet? When is it going to be done? I'm so excited to hear it. That was a big thing that helped push that one over the finish line. Okay, so yes, we have our channel EQ there, and then we also have Soothe here helping us take care of some of the harsh high end. We also have a phaser, which is a new thing that was not on any of the previous synths, giving this thing just a little bit of that almost sci-fi sound, which I like. Let's see if we can. Let me make sure that this is soloed my mic. Yes, I set that up so that it does it, and I still check every time because I'm worried that it isn't doing it. Check this out, okay? So if we turn the phaser off, it still sounds cool. I just love that phaser, though. That's so neat. Yes. Oh, Guy says he's doing good, but struggling with health. Pushing this album, too. Thanks. Yeah. No, thank you, man. Seriously. I've said it a few times on these episodes, but considering AfterWinter doesn't play live and we don't have a lot of like direct interaction with fans, anytime people pay us attention, it's very nice. You know what I mean? Because we're not doing some of the things that a lot of normal bands do to interact with their crowd. So we really appreciate, we extra appreciate any support we get. Okay, so I'm pretty good with how these sound. Let's just check them in the mix here. But again, I've left it in solo mode. Okay, yeah, liking the synth there. I just kind of got lost in the vibe for a second there, too. I think listened to a little bit more than maybe was necessary, but I was just enjoying it, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, nothing on our synth master, but I think that's okay. I don't think we need to do anything else. There's never any point where the two synth tracks are playing together, so we don't need to multipress or compress. All of that should be taken care of. We can see that the waves are fairly consistent volume-wise, so we shouldn't need to compress anything there. Moving over into leads, we have two lead tracks, one a little bit left and one a little bit right. Both of these are me. Oh yes, this was both of the leads on this were done with the Black Iceman guitar, which is actually Dad's. This is the guitar that I also used throughout most of the Sarvik Wicked Mistress album. That guitar started feeling really, really comfortable to me during that album, so I had to make sure we used it on this one too. So this is an interesting lead that spends some time in unison and some time in harmony. It's not necessarily a solo, but I guess it kind of is. This song doesn't have, I guess, what we would normally call a proper guitar solo, but we are instead doing this lead thing here. So interesting. We're in the neck pickup here, and we're definitely getting a lot of low mids. This is something we're probably going to want to take a look at. So we've got a channel EQ, high passing, cutting some low mids, cutting a little bit of harshness at 3.5. Oh, but Guy says, love what I hear. Can't wait. Yes, thank you very much, man. We also can't wait. We're excited to get this thing out. We've got our multi-presser over here targeting mostly just the palm mutes, which happened near the end. Sounded like we may need to compress that a little harder. We've also got number 3 open, just kind of looking to grab kind of high mids. We may want to go ahead and open number 2 on this too, if I'm being honest. We're getting a lot of low mids in this one. I'm not super concerned about number 3, I think. Yeah, that definitely helped. Let me compress our low end just a little harder for just for those palm mutes near the end. Yeah. And then again, we have Soothe at the end, just helping to take care of some of these high mid and high annoying frequencies. And then on our leads master, we've got a multi-presser. Take a check on this too. Now all 4 things are open in this. Yep, good with that. Then we've got a compressor just because the 2 things are playing at the same time, just to make sure that there isn't anything volume-wise that jumps out way harder than everything else. Okay, I think we want to run this in dual mono. We didn't before, but I think I'm going to this time, just because those channels are like kind of left and kind of right. And all this means is that we're compressing the left channel and the right channel separately from each other. Same settings across both, but compressing them separately. Okay. And then finally, we've got a channel EQ, which is cutting a little bit at 282 and boosting a little at 1200. So cutting some mud, boosting a little bit of tone there. Okay, so our cut at 282 became a little bit unnecessary because we were doing that better with the multi-pressors. I'm going to leave the boost at 1200 for now. The rest we will leave for the mid-range bandpass, just to kind of tell us what we do or don't need out of that. Okay, Next, we've got our lead vocals. There are 4 lead vocal tracks in this song. Two for Majennica, 2 for me. Each one of us has kind of like a main lead and then a double. The double is just there for the Wendy's effect or just beefing things up. Basically, this is not meant to sound like 2 people singing necessarily. So we've got a couple of things going on. Each one of us has a virtual mix rack, which we established for Boundless in the Well. Should be working fine in there. All of that same stuff. On Majenica's, we've got a channel EQ doing high pass and also a couple of little cuts kind of in the mid-range. And also a cut way high up at the top, probably for harshness. We'll go ahead and leave those for now, but those are probably mid-range bandpass moves. I've got a channel EQ just doing high pass. So let's kind of check out the sound here. The verses is where I'm singing.
Lost and adrift, I know not where I've been or where I'm going. Wasted away, life left to right. I've checked the score and added up to nothing. Just stay away. I'm so far from what I thought I had. Don't offer help because I'll bite your head. Out to sea where isolation's free. I don't have to agree, nobody bothers me.
Okay, I did a little bit of volume adjustment there I want to check.
Lost and adrift, I know not where I've been or where I'm going. Wasted away, life left to right. I've checked the score and added up to nothing. Just stay away. I'm so far from what I thought I had. Don't offer help because I'll bite your head. Out to sea where isolation's free. I don't have to agree, nobody bothers me.
Yeah, I think I'm good with that. A couple of other things are jumping out at me, paying attention to that. I think we're definitely going to need our soothe hi-hat for that verse part. The hi-hat is jumping out really hard. And I was hearing the bass a little bit better than I was hearing the guitars that time. So let's just do it like a half decibel down on the bass and a half decibel up on the guitars. And let's go ahead and take care of this hi-hat thing now while I've noticed it. I know it's kind of like a distraction from what we're actually paying attention to, but on our overhead, we have an instance of Soothe on the hi-hat remover setting, preset, and we had that turned off. This is something that we only want on when the hi-hat is being kind of troublesome. So we actually need to go in here and automate this to turn on and off. So we grab Soothe, and we go to bypass mode, and we can turn bypass mode on and off here. So most of the time we want this to stay in bypass.
Lost and adrift, I know not where I've been or where I'm going. Wasted away, life left to right. I've checked the score and added up to nothing. Just stay away. I'm so far from what I thought I had.
So right there, about halfway through, we start doing hi-hat instead of China cymbal. Let's go ahead and highlight that whole area and hit the bypass. Now this is probably going to kill it a little too much, but let's check.
Just stay away. I'm so far from what I thought I had. Don't offer help because I'll bite your head. Out to sea where isolation's free. I don't have to agree, nobody bothers me.
Okay, so a couple of things. First off, he stops hitting hi-hat right here, so we want to make sure that the bypass turns back on there. It did kill it a little too much, I thought. So let's do a couple of things here. I know he hits a cymbal right at the beginning.
so far from.
So he doesn't really start hitting the hi-hat until count 2 of this measure. So first off, let's not turn the bypass off until that. I want to find some other cymbal crashes.
So far from what I thought I had. Don't offer help because I'll bite your head. Out to sea.
There's definitely one there at 65. There might have been one earlier too. There's a snare fill that the cymbal bleed is really bad.
Thought I had. Don't offer help.
Yeah, there was definitely one there at 61 also.
So far from what I thought I had.
Yeah, and 59. That cymbal bleed kind of hides it.
What I thought I had. Don't offer help because I'll bite your head. Out to sea.
Is there one at 63?
Cause I'll bite your head.
I can't tell. Oh, and 64. We should have been listening to this in solo mode. Now, I know this sounds weird at the moment, too. The cymbals are kind of like jumping in and then disappearing real fast. We should be able to use the mix knob to soften that so that it's not so weird. Okay, there at 69. Oh. Okay, so that tricky stuff going on right there. There's one at 70 as well. And then 71 had one here. Oh, weird. Okay. Something like that. Yeah. Okay. Now let's also automate the mix part of this, which is how much of the plugin we're hearing versus the unaffected sound. And instead of 100%, let's go like 60% or so.
I'm so far from what I thought I had. Don't offer help because I'll bite your head. Out to sea where isolation's free. I don't have to agree, nobody bothers me.
Okay, yeah, the cymbal crashes still sounded weird. So this, like, turning it on and off for cymbal crashes is not only a lot of work, but it's not really doing what we want. So let's just do that.
I'm so far from what I thought I had. Don't offer help because I'll bite your head. Out to sea where isolation's free. I don't have to agree, nobody bothers me.
Okay, now we have to assume if he plays it the same way in verse 2, it's probably the same thing.
Shame for knowing me. I'm just smart enough to know when I'm not wanted. Pathetic display. Walked away from problems until I was far away from those who only claim they care. My lingering doubt is questioning this route. Should I turn about? Have I been wrong throughout?
Okay, yep, same thing there. So let's take our mix down to about 62%, which is where we were before. And we also need to turn our bypass off during that same period.
Walked away from problems until I was far away from those who only claim they care. My lingering doubt is questioning this route. Should I turn about? Have I been wrong throughout?
Okay, got all that. Back to vocals. Also, I've finished my Mountain Dew here, and I think like 3 or 4 times now I've picked up the empty can thinking that it still had some in it. I think that's a sign I need to go get another one. Let's check this chorus before I do that. So we are now listening to Majenica's vocals and making sure they sound the way we want them to.
I know that you feel lost and alone. You don't have to stay there. There is a day when you will come home, and we won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you are. Though you think you're too far gone, never will the distance be too far for me.
Lies people say.
Yep, good with all that. I do think I'm going to turn that rim click back up just a hair. When I turned it down earlier, I think I might have turned it down just a little bit too far. Okay. Background vocals probably good to go too. I almost never mess with the sound of the background vocals. Each background vocal has a compressor, which is the edge vocal preset. I even use this on Majenica's. I've used that thing for years. It's just such a good general compressor preset, especially for this kind of music. And then for each one, we also have a channel EQ, high passing at 150 for any male vocals, and did I have that backwards? Or 120 I thought it should be at male vocals, and 150 for female vocals. Why have I got this set to 150? BG1 is me. Actually, I think all the background vocals in this one are me. Okay, well, good thing we looked. Yeah, James's are set to 120. So we'll set that to 120 and then replace all of these. Now that can change from vocalist to vocalist, so let's keep in mind here that I'm saying 120 for male vocals and 150 for female, but that's just kind of a general thing there. So if you get a male vocalist with a particularly high voice or a female vocalist with a particularly low voice, that can change. So to a certain extent, it does need to be specific to the singer, but that's a good place to start, and I found that those seem to work, at least for me and Majenica's vocals. Leaving them at the norm seems to work totally fine. So we're good with that. Oh yes, almost forgot about the lead vocal master. So let's take a look at that. We do have a de-esser on here, the Aosis de-esser set to my normal stuff right there. We also have a multipressor looking for errant frequencies. Let's use that on... yeah, we should probably use that on mine, since mine are more aggressive. They're more likely to hit the compressor.
Lost and adrift, I know not where I've been or where I'm going. Wasted away, life left to right. I've checked the score and added up to nothing. Just stay away. I'm so far from what I thought I had. Don't offer help because I'll bite your head. Out to sea where I
this stuff continues to surprise me at every turn. So my vocals hardly hit the compressor at all. Majenica's vocals are hitting even like the lows. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, now we don't have a regular compressor on this because there's no point where Majennica and I's lead vocal are singing at the same time. So the individual compressions are taking care of that. Then we have a channel EQ here with a dip at 300 and a little boost at 4,000 to get rid of kind of some muddiness and boost some tone. That's pretty normal for the mid-range bandpass to cut there at 300 for the vocals because they sound a little bit weird or muted almost. Okay, so all good there. Well, we'll go ahead and listen to that chorus again just to check that EQ. Yep. And then we'll just check a little bit of the verse too.
Find your head out to sea where isolation's free. I don't have to agree, nobody bothers me.
Okay. Background vocals. Like I said, I don't think we need to hear the individual channels, but the big one here. So we got our de-esser on the background vocal master. We need to jump to a chorus. Most of the place where background vocals are is the chorus. De-esser, then we have a multipressor. Let's just go ahead and check what that's doing. So of course they jump a little bit on the bigger ones, yes. Also compressor running in dual mono again for the chorus since we're pretty hard in stereo here. Compressing the left and right channels individually, but we shouldn't be seeing this move very much.
When you will come home, we won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you are. Though you think you're too far gone, never will the distance be too far for me.
Okay, and finally a channel EQ taking a little bit at 300. Again, a mid-range bandpass thing. We'll just listen to that end again.
Though you think you're too far gone, never will the distance be too far for me.
Yep, okay. Last thing here we got going on is the gang vocals. This is just the big aggressive stuff in the verses. Now each one of these tracks, there are 4 of them again, panned out, so we get nice wide vocal. But each track has, I think, 4 voices on it, right? So me and Eli and Dad and James, I think, all doing these, just yelling at the mics. Each one of them has the channel EQ doing the high pass at 150. And the edge vocal compressor, yeah, just like a background vocal would. We don't have anything on the gang vocal master yet, but we probably should. We shouldn't need... I don't think we'll need compression, but multi-pression would probably be a good idea. And we may end up putting a channel EQ on later. Let's go ahead and put the de-esser on there. What do we have on this? Yeah, let's do our normal default thing here. And then let's take a look at a multipressor. Don't need the expander to do anything. We just want compression. Here we go.
Lost and adrift, I know not where I've been or where I'm going. Wasted away, life left to right. I've checked the score and at it. Wasted away, life left to right. I've checked life left to right. I know not where I've been or where I'm going. Wasted away, life left to right. I've checked the score and added up to nothing. Lost and adrift. Lost and adrift. I know not where I've been or where I'm going. Wasted away, life left to right. I've checked the score and added up to nothing.
Okay, break, chorus, verse 2. I want to check that too.
Be too far for me.
Lies people say, the things they think I want to hear, but I know their eyes betray. Shame for knowing me. I'm just smart enough to know when I'm not wanted.
Yeah. I think we're going good on that. Like I said, I don't think we need compressor, and if we need a channel EQ, the mid-range bandpass will tell us so. It wouldn't surprise me if we need the little 300 cut right there too. Vocal reverb and vocal delay are already good. Yeah, so speaking of the mid-range bandpass, we are there. So let's talk a little bit about that so that we can jump into that. This right here, this is a channel EQ plugin, which you can see is cutting out a lot of our lows and a lot of our highs and leaving us just the mid-range. Now, this thing right here has been the biggest game change to my mix process in the last several years, the biggest, like, total game changer. This is meant to help you get your mix sounding good across every system, because there is only one range of frequencies that all speakers everywhere have, and that is the mid-range. Now, most speakers have more than that, but even the crappiest of little nothing speakers that you can go out and buy at like Big Lots or Walmart or something, the worst thing is still going to have most of the mid-range. So if your song sounds good in the mid-range, it should sound good across the most possible different speaker systems. The other thing we want to keep in mind here is that if our song sounds balanced and full quality, and right at the moment it does seem pretty balanced like that, generally speaking, of course, but then is unbalanced when you're listening to it with the mid-range bandpass on, that usually means that it's an EQ thing that needs changed, not a volume thing. So that's something that we're going to have to pay attention to. Now, a lot of these issues we've already ironed out. We ironed out a lot of things in Poison in the Well that have worked again across the other songs that we've done. Now, this one is a different tuning. Everybody's using different guitars in this song from other ones, so the things that we changed may need to be different. It may end up needing stuff in slightly different spots, or maybe everything's still fine. It's totally possible that everything is still fine, but we want to check that. We're going to listen to the whole song with the mid-range bandpass on. Now, there are speakers you can buy that do this for you. There are fancy studio monitors that don't color the sound at all, but only give you the mid-range. And if anybody is familiar at all with pictures of like big studios, you've probably seen these speakers before. They are very expensive. And while part of me would kind of like to get a pair of them, you can pretty much achieve the same thing by putting an EQ on and doing what I've done here. And that's free. So unless anybody wants to get me a very, very, very expensive birthday present, that is, arguably a little bit unnecessary considering we can do the same thing. We are doing this with the EQ, which is just fine. So once we turn this on, everything's going to sound a little bit weird. If you're listening to this on any sort of full range speaker, it's going to sound a little bit like the speaker's broken. If you're just watching this on your phone or on like a crappier TV, it might not even sound all that different. But we're cutting out the low All of the really low stuff, we're cutting out all the really high stuff, and just hearing the mid-range. Let's take a listen. Oh, wait a minute. Before we do that, give me like 30 seconds to get a new Mountain Dew. I keep picking this can up because I've forgotten it's empty. There we go. Day 15 of asking for a Pepsi sponsorship. Okay, now let's take a listen.
Lost and adrift, I know not where I've been or where I'm going. Wasted away, life left to right. I've checked the score and added up to nothing. Just stay away.
Okay, couple of things here. Where is this bass boost at? 280. Okay. I'm hearing the high end of the bass okay, but I'd like to hear a little bit more low end. Let's try taking this 280 boost down a little further, down a little closer to 200. Also, there seems to be something a little bit like high-pitched and annoying in the vocals. Oh, Guy says if I had the money, I'd get them for you. I've seen them at Electric Lady Studios in New York City. Man, that's awesome. You've been in Electric Lady. Oh, I'd love to see that. I'm not sure if you know this or not, Guy, but a lot of us here in AfterWinter are huge Kiss fans, and they did quite a few of their albums there at Electric Lady. I think it's gone now, right? Or it's a different studio. But either way, that's super cool that you've been in there. Yeah, definitely not cheap, those things. A pair of those probably run you $1,500 or $2,000. There's something in there that's kind of like high-pitched and annoying in the lead vocals, too. So we're going to want to take a look at that. I wonder if it's this 4,000 boost doing bad things instead of good things.
Lost and adrift, I know not where I've been or where I'm going. Wasted away, life left to right. I've checked the score and added up to nothing. Just stay away. I'm so far from what I thought I had. Don't offer help because I'll bite your head. Out to sea where isolation's free. I don't have to agree, nobody bothers me.
I know that you feel lost and alone. You don't have to stay. There is a day when you will come home, and we won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you are.
The rim click has got a weird little thing in it, too. I wonder if this 35 boost is not doing good things.
I'll meet you where you are.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I don't think the 35 boost is bad. We might want to shorten that and maybe even put a cut higher up. Like maybe right around 5,000 we ought to cut. There's some sort of like weird snap going on. That's a little weird. 5,000 should be outside of our mid-range bandpass, but I'm not convinced that the 3,500 thing was what was doing it.
We won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you are. Though you think you're too far gone, never will the distance be too far for me.
Far gone. Never will the distance be too far for me. Will the distance be too far for me? Think you're too far gone. Never will the distance be too far for me. Water, I'll meet you
Where you are.
Hey! Life left to rot. I've checked the score and added up to nothing. Just stay away. I'm so far from what I thought.
Oh, that you feel lost and alone. You don't have to stay there. Is a day when you will come home, and we won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you are. And though you think you're too far gone, never will the distance be too far for me. I know that you feel lost and alone. You don't have to stay there. Is a day when you will come home, and we won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you are.
Majennica was still sounding kind of muffled to me, but I think it's getting better.
I know that you feel lost and alone. You don't have to stay there. And you will come home, and we won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you are. Though you think you're too far gone, never will the
Yeah, I think we're getting a lot of those vocal things figured out there. Yeah, man. If you guys are in the comments and not reading what Guy is saying, you guys need to get over there. Yeah, Guy says still open. Yep, Jimmy Hendrix built that studio. Guy says, I worked with Twisted Sister in the clubs. JJ was in Wicked Lester before. I saw all the early Kiss concerts. I was at the Garden and the Alive and the very early shows. Saw the first show at the Popcorn Club. Man, that is amazing. That is stuff I've just read about. That is super awesome, man. Yeah, Eli and I spent some time in a Kiss tribute band where we were doing the whole thing, doing the costumes, the makeup. Now we were doing the Creatures of the Night era, so I was dressed up like Vinnie Vincent. Eli was dressed up like Eric Carr, and then we did the Sarvik album too, which I think I sent you. You have to let me know, Guy, if I didn't send you a Sarvik album. I think I did, but if I didn't, I need to. Where we kind of tried to make an album that sounded kind of like early Kiss stuff. And that band, Sarvik, was doing Kiss covers, too. We were playing a lot of the really early, the first 3 album stuff. We went through a period where we were playing stuff all throughout all the different eras. That was really fun until our singer, Harry, passed away, unfortunately. We were gearing up for maybe some big things with that unfortunately didn't work out. But, yeah, big Kiss fans for sure. That is super neat to hear that you were present for all of that stuff. Okay, so yeah, like I said, we're working out good stuff here. I'm going to jump up to break 2. This is where the strings are going to come in and kind of give us an indication of those. There's still something weird about the vocals, I feel like. We might have fixed it, but I'm going to keep listening. Okay, the strings were definitely too loud, but I think I got them to sit where they need to anyway. I want to take a listen to that chorus again and pay more attention to the vocals.
I'll meet you
Nice. Yeah, I think we got some good stuff out of that. Yeah. Oh, Guy says, I don't know if I have that. Sounds like I'll love it. Yeah, I think you would. I've got it sitting here. It looks like this. I can't see my camera. I hope I'm holding that up in a place that... Yeah. It looks kind of like this right here. There's a tattooed girl on the front with holding a guitar. Well, you can't see that really well on the screen, can you? But yes, really good album. If you don't have that, I will definitely send you one because I think you would love it. Me on guitar and Eli on drums, Dad on bass, and a guy named Harry Mills on vocals. And Harry hadn't really been in any other band other than this. And man, this, I think it was his pride and joy. He loved this band, loved doing this. And unfortunately, he passed away last year, just a couple of months after Jerry from AfterWinter passed away. So we lost both of those vocalists last year, unfortunately. We're coming up. We just passed a year since Jerry's death, but we're coming up on a year since Harry's. So yeah, gonna have to do some special Sarvik stuff right around that time to kind of celebrate that. And so this album, Boundless, ended up having a lot to do lyrically with moving on beyond loss. How to, keep living your life after losing important people like that. Especially important to all of us in AfterWinter and Sarvik after last year, for sure. Okay, so multi-band, what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say multi-band compressor, and that's not right. Mid-range band pass. Gosh, brain. Get with it, brain. Mid-range band pass done there. Now, we did make some pretty crazy adjustments to the vocals. So now we want to turn that off, turn the mid-range band pass off, and go back and make sure that our vocals still sound okay in full quality, because this can occasionally be about striking a balance between sounding good in full quality and sounding good in the mid-range band pass.
Lost and adrift, I know not where I've been or where I'm going. Wasted away, life left to rot. I've checked the score and added up to nothing. Just stay away. I'm so far from what I thought I had. Don't offer help because I'll bite your head. Out to sea where isolation's free. I don't have to agree, nobody bothers me.
I know that you feel lost and alone. You don't have to stay there. Is a day when you will come home, and we won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you are. Though you think you're too far gone, never will the distance be too far for me.
Lies people say, the things they think I want to hear, but I know their eyes betray.
Yeah, I think that sounded good. Let's listen to that second chorus too, since the strings were in there and we made some adjustments to that as well.
I know that you feel left all alone. I won't let you stay there. Is a day when you will come home, and we won't
Yeah, I think it's sounding really good. That snare especially is just pounding in this one. I love it. Yeah, guy says 2 in a year. Can't wait for this album. Yeah. This has been a busy few years for us. Tell you what, that's for sure. Is anybody in here that's in Sarvik? I don't know if Eli or Dad are watching. What year did we put that album out? I mean, it wasn't this year. Was it last year? Or maybe it was 2023. Did we put 3 albums out in 2023? AfterWinter, Sarvik, and my solo album? Were those all 2023? My gosh. I've got the dates here. I don't know why I'm guessing. There's full discography. Yeah, Wicked Mistress was in August of 2023. So Reclamation was in April, Wicked Mistress was in August, Paramnesia was in September. My gosh, we were flying that year. Yeah. Man, that's good. Tell you what, once this album is done, too, I've been thinking about moving this operation over to my Riff Entertainment YouTube channel and continuing to do stuff like this, streaming mixes of albums and stuff. I've got no shortage of things that could use kind of like re-ups over the years, things that never really got released that we could mix better and put out and that sort of stuff. I was just showing Tyler Stroh, which is a guy I'm recording that comes on Wednesday nights. Last night I was showing him something from the Reclamation album, and man, guys, this Boundless production-wise is sounding so much better than that. I've never had a problem with the production on Reclamation and Paramnesia, really, for that matter, after it came out, at least not for a long time. But this stuff sounds so much better than that, and it's given me the itch to go back and do some of that like this as well. But one thing at a time. Let's get this thing finished before anything like that gets going too far. Okay, so that leaves us finished with part 2 of the mix process for this particular song. So now we need to go into volume detail, where we are paying attention to one track at a time and making sure that we are hearing each thing appropriately for the song. Again, this doesn't mean that we need to hear each thing 100% clearly. It does mean that it needs to be serving its intended purpose in the song. Just like with the other songs, I don't think anything really needs to be done with the bass drum and the snare drum. I think those are fine. I think we are naturally maintaining the dynamic in the chorus. I don't think anything needs specially turned down. I think the chorus is feeling okay as is. We don't have floor tom 2, so we don't need to worry about panning floor tom 1 to the left whenever they're hit together. But we do need to go through the song fill by fill and make sure that you can hear all of the toms anytime Eli is playing fills. So let's do that now. Going through the song tom by tom. I was waiting for all that. I think I could use more of the floor tom throughout all of that. Yeah, let's go quite a ways up with it as well. Here we go. So, sorry about that. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm just having trouble hearing that floor tom pretty much no matter what. Let's try bringing the snare down just a little bit. Not much, but just a little bit. See if that helps make room for the floor tom to come through a little more. I think I want to give a little bit more to the rack toms on these first two. Come on, computer. There we go. Okay, yeah, that helped the first one, but now the second one felt a little too loud, so maybe we brought those up a little bit too far. Let's kind of go in between there. I wanted to back up a little further. Nice, good with all that.
Just stay away. I'm so far from what I thought I had.
Oh, there's one of our cymbal bleed issues is on rack tom 1 there. Just getting a little bit too much on those.
I'm so far from what I thought I had. Don't offer help.
Okay. That one rack tom 1 was a little quiet, but honestly I think I was good with it being that way. Let's push this rack tom 2 right here a little harder though.
Don't offer help because of what I had. Don't offer help because I'll bite your head. Out to sea where isolation's free. I don't have to agree, nobody.
Even this rack tom 3 seemed a hair quiet here.
I don't have to agree, nobody bothers me.
When you will come home, and we won't have to wait here. But
Okay, yeah, that rack tom was really quiet, which again dynamically makes sense, but let's bring it up a little.
we won't have to wait here.
That was a little too much.
We won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you where you are. Though you think you're too far gone, never will the distance be too far for me.
Lies people say.
We're definitely going to have some fun bringing out the da-da-da-da that the guitars and the synth are playing.
Fake display. Walked away from problems until I was far away from.
Okay, yeah, so we've kind of got the same thing as verse 1 here.
I was far away from those who only claim they care. Finding this route, should I turn about? Have I been wrong throughout?
We won't have to wait here but
Yeah, so kind of the same thing as the last chorus. Let's bring that up a bit.
we won't have to wait here by the water. I'll meet you. You think you're too far gone, never will the distance be too far for me.
bring this rack tom up just a hair here. Yeah. We've introduced a redundancy there. Maybe other redundancies too I want to kind of watch out for. Oh, maybe not. Maybe we actually did good on that this time. Yeah. Yep, I think we're all good with that. Very nice. Get all those put down. I don't think there's any parts where the overheads need turned up or down. Preliminarily, I'm not hearing any other spot where the hi-hat's bothering me. Everything else seems to be good with that. Okay, and that puts us at listening to the song with just drums and bass, listening for spots where the bass might be doing something that's getting buried by everything else. I do know that there are a couple of spots in the bass that I want to bring down just a little bit. In the intro and in the ending, he's doing this really high thing, this boo-doo-doo-doo, that right there, and I love that. I want to make sure I don't want to get rid of that or take it down too far, but I do feel like it's a little loud at the moment, so we want to pull that down a little. We're going to mute everything except for drums and bass, so that would be the rhythm guitars master, the clean guitars master, piano, orchestra, synth, leads, lead vocals, background vocals, gang vocals. Okay. So that should leave us with just drums and bass here. And really we're paying special attention to the bass guitar here just to see what's going on there. I'm going to go ahead and put a volume envelope on there because, like I said, I know we're going to want to bring that one spot down. It's not even that bad. Honestly, I've been thinking about this since the tracking mix, that this little spot was too loud, and our normal mixing stuff has honestly done a lot for kind of putting that where it should be, but I do want to bring it down just a little more, just kind of relax it into the mix. Same thing there too. So I guess he does do this in a few spots because I know it happens at least one more time in the ending as well. There's another spot I think I want to keep my eye on, too. In both choruses, there's a spot where he goes high. He plays a thing high and then plays a thing low, and then in the second chorus, he plays it low first and then goes high. And at least with these two things, it seems like the high one is suddenly way louder than everything else. But I don't recall thinking that in the full quality mix, so that's something we're going to want to pay attention to. That's another thing right there. 205. There was that again. I think there was kind of a missed low C note there that we could fix really easy at 205. Lucky that Tom 3 is also kind of tuned to a C note. Not intentionally, but it works out really well. Okay, yeah, let's grab this little thing right here. And again, this is nitpicky in the sense that, like, the bass track has existed for more than a year on these demos, and I've never caught that this note gets missed a little bit before. But we can fix it really easy, so let's, why not? Something's weird here. Okay, never mind. I noticed that gap right there and I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be there. It is. Okay, all good there. So let's switch to guitars now. We are now going to mute the bass and open up the rhythm guitars instead. So we're hearing drums and rhythm guitars here, and we are listening specifically for any place where James and I are not playing the same thing. Most of the time we will be, but anytime we aren't, we want to make sure that the harmonies remain in balance. And I know there's a few harmonies in this, especially in the second verse. There's a part that I feel like is getting a little bit buried in the second verse that we need to make sure we bring out as well. So let's take a listen here. Pause real quick for a moment. I am so used to that bass part that's right there. That intro sounds totally wrong without the bass. I love that, just the bop, 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 and that man that he's doing right there. That intro just straight up sounds wrong without it. Okay, continuing. There was a harmony right there where it seemed like the harmony was louder than the melody. Right there. There we go. Just count 4. Count 4 of measure 60. Now, we've been doing James up a decibel and me down in that one, and that seems to be getting us where we need to go here recently. Big surprise, the computer won't let me have the number I want, though. Come on, computer, just give me 6.5. There we go. And then mine need to go down to 10. Which, of course, it won't give me. It's got to be a joke at that point, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay. There was that same harmony again. Yeah, let's do it there too. So this is the last beat of measure 68. James needs to go up to 6.5. There, it gave it to me that time. And I need to go down to 10. Okay, can't have 10 though, apparently. There we go. We shouldn't need to do anything with this part. That's James in the lighter distortion there, but I'm not playing at all, so obviously he and I aren't going to be doing anything different. Here we go. So verse 2 introduces this new aspect of the riff. We're kind of playing the same riff, but now we're doing this na-na-na-na thing in there. And it seems like maybe the balance between the harmonies is okay. I think I'm okay with the balance, but that thing itself is getting pretty buried in the mix. I'm like when we're listening to the whole thing, I'm hardly hearing that at all. So I'd like to hear that just a little bit better. Computer, what just happened? Here we go. Which is going to be a little bit of a pain because it means finding every spot we're doing that in the entire verse and individually turning them up. Let's not go super overboard. Let's try a couple of decibels, maybe. That might be too much. Maybe in the actual verse itself, we shouldn't go 2 decibels. That one right there is by itself. It's the only thing that happens in the song right there, so it makes sense for it to go up a little more. Maybe for the rest of the song, we only bring it up 1. Another one. Did I miss one? I feel like I might have overlooked one. There it is right there. There's a really weird overtone happening right there, too, where it's almost like we're hearing a high C note go... It's like 2 pieces of china bumping together, almost. Right there, boop, right at the end of that. I wonder what that is, because it's got to be on the guitar track, so we didn't hear it with the drums and bass. Must just be some weird, buildup of frequencies somewhere. Yeah, it happens almost every time we come down from this. Maybe one of us, me or James, is kind of like creating that sound with a slide down back to the riff, because it's a really quick slide up, play the thing, slide back down to the riff position. Okay, it seems like that other little harmony we were adjusting in verse 1 is gone, though. It must have been replaced by the riff, this little fancy thing here. There was that clinking sound again real loud. Alright, there it is right there. I feel like there's a lot less harmonies on this than there were in Paramnesia. Just an interesting unintentional thing. Nice. Yeah. I think we're good to go on all that. All right. Let's unmute the bass guitar here. Okay, so we are coming up on the end of the amount of time that I have for now to stream, but that's okay because we've still got a ton of work done today. We've finished the last half of part 2, doing all of the sound detail. We did the mid-range band pass, which is the end of the sound detail, and we've gotten pretty far on volume detail now as well. Our next step is going to be listening to the bass layer, B-A-S-E, bass layer of drums, bass, and rhythm guitars, and just making sure that everything remains in balance, especially all the changes we just made. The thing on the bass, the thing that goes way up high that we turned down, making sure that that's not disappearing. All of those little harmonies, especially the stuff in the second verse, making sure that those are popping out properly in just that amount. And then we're going to start, we're going to turn everything else back on, and we're going to be listening to what are the clean guitars doing, what are the pianos doing, what are the orchestra doing, everything until we've got everything in. And then usually that's the first draft mix of our song. So we are well on our way to finishing this one up as well, so that we can eventually move into track 5, hopefully in the next couple of episodes. Now, as far as the next stream, I might actually be able to stream again later today. I've got an hour-long student from 8 to 9 that just canceled while we were doing this stream, so theoretically I should be able to do kind of a shorter, a little bit less than an hour maybe stream, so that we can try and get some of this done. We might be able to get quite a bit further in this in that time, but it kind of depends on what else pops up throughout the night. If something else needs done, then we may not be streaming. But make sure to check out this channel, or if you're friends with me on Facebook or in our AfterWinter, the Making of Boundless Facebook group, I'll be posting links if I'm live. So maybe watch out for one a little bit after 8 o'clock, and we'll get a little bit more work done. All right, guys, regardless of whether you're watching right now, whether you were watching earlier in the stream, whether you're watching this in the future when it's not live, I and everybody in the band appreciate every second of your time that you spend checking this stuff out. We hope that you enjoy what you're seeing, what you're hearing. We hope you enjoy watching this album shape up and be made as much as we enjoyed writing it, recording it, and now I'm enjoying getting it to mix and master so that it sounds the way it's eventually going to sound. It's a lot of fun for me. I hope it's a lot of fun for you guys too. One more time, thank you guys so much for tuning into this. Thanks again to the new subscribers for this channel. We have grown several subscribers since this series started, which is amazing. Always great to see growth in that way. So if you're one of the new subscribers watching this, even if it's not live right now, thank you so much for subscribing. There will be plenty more to come. All right, guys, we will see you hopefully later tonight, and if not then, sometime tomorrow.